ain't got no code name.
Code name.
Code
Silly.
name, kid next door.
Wait a minute, you got the camera. You got the camera in your camera. All right, there you go. You good. All right. What you got, person? You close the door.
Let me see. So today we gonna talk about the 48 Laws of Power, by Robert Greene. So the first one is never outshine your master. What's your thoughts on that?
You got to say who you talking to.
Oh, I'm talking to Dr. Bolton, talking to Joel.
Dr. Austin.
That's your daddy, fool.
Nah,
That's your daddy.
I'm just saying who you
And
directing the question to.
Today we gonna give you a code name, all right? We got Mr. G in today, joining us.
Now, the funny thing is,
What?
my grandfather's name was Garfield,
Uh-huh.
and I have an uncle that makes up names for everybody. Mr. G was my grandfather's name.
Mr. G is your grandfather's name?
Mm-hmm.
I think I only
Yes.
got one side. What the
I
rest of
have
y'all
books.
papers? All right, let me see.
I'm all good. So I was just saying that, like, who are you posing the question to, so we don't
So it's-
kind of stumble over each other answering?
Is everybody? So the first one is never outshine the master. What are y'all thoughts on that first one, and how does it relate to your everyday life?
To my everyday life?
Yeah, everyday life. Like, what's your
Not at
original
all.
thoughts on the law? Do you think it's factual?
I mean, I think it depends on the situation you're in. If you're trying to advance in, like, say you're trying to sign on with a different company or something, and you could outshine somebody, but
But it's never outshine a master. So do you think
hey,
it's a
you
benefit?
gotta, to be the man, you gotta beat the man, right?
Nah, not always. You gotta be strategic in how you do that. You get what I'm saying? If you outshining your boss, if you outshining your master, your boss, whatever the case may be, sometimes you gotta be a little covert. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What do you think? I mean, hey, if I got it, we on it. What? Don't hesitate.
But it depends on who your master is.
Okay.
Your master is going to be different people in different situations. It doesn't matter if we're doing family business. My father's the master.
Mhm.
I don't speak first. I say the parts. If my father is there, no matter what we're doing, I lead from behind. Even though I know I gotta lead, I know who Mr. Bolton is. I lead from behind. I never outshine my father. I never make my father look smaller. Before I introduce Dr. Bolton, I introduce Mr. Bolton. And I let everybody know that Dr. Bolton came from Mr. Bolton. So there's never a dynamic of, there's never an imbalance in our relationship, because I need him to remain who he's always been to me. So I need him elevated if I gotta hold him up. When I'm talking to my nephew, he and his dad, are having something that they disagree on. You don't look at it as outshining the master. We can agree to disagree, and you can not take my advice. Outshining the master is how you do it. When you do it in a way that reduces my station or authority. When I do it kind of like licking my tongue out at you, as opposed to, with much respect and much consideration, I would like to try it this way. I don't have to frame it that way, but in how I frame it, how I pose it, because the master is a master for a reason. A master is a different position than a learned person or an intelligent person. A master usually has a large realm of influence. So if you may not need this master at this second, but you're gonna need him 10 seconds from now, so you don't you don't forget which side your bread is buttered on. So if I am in a university setting and I present some information or challenge some information that may be deemed as disrespectful to a well-accomplished historian, I may have limited my assistance that I would get from that person later because I chose to outshine you as opposed to approaching it in a particular way. It's not saying don't accomplish what you need to accomplish. It's saying to outshine somebody, which means I either use so much of my light that you couldn't be seen, or I purposely put my light next to yours. So I think that is more so of, and as I get to read that chapter more, I'm going to be able to really find out what it was that he was talking about. But I just had this conversation where I was offering somebody wise counsel, and I had this book here, and that was the first thing that we had started talking about. So, you know, we have to understand, one, we have to recognize who our masters are. And a lot of times we're reluctant to, and especially in the black community, I'm sure, we're very, we have a lot of anxiety around that term. Nobody's my master, only Jesus is my master, or whatever, Allah, or whomever you choose to be your leadership of yourself spiritually. Very few times do people miss the message because of wording, and I think that's also an issue in that too. But yeah, it's I find it best exemplified in family. And if you can understand it in family, then you can translate it to the workplace. You can translate it to education. You can translate it to marriage. You know, there are times I know Tamika can be wrong as two left shoes. Oh, I got her back. Then we get in the car, I'm gonna be like, dude, don't ever do that again. You was wrong as I don't know what. But out in front of everybody, oh, ride or die. So in that case, my spouse is the master. And it don't matter how many degrees I get, I'm never going to outshine her intellectually because I didn't have them before I met her. Again, that's, at the very least, you made me who I needed to be able to get them. So I'm not going to get where I can spell able and then try to make you look silly. So, again, I appreciate her. I keep her elevated above me because she's my wife. But whatever I have doesn't challenge that. So again, she's the master in this situation. In some situations, my kids are the master. I have a duty and a responsibility to be of service to them. At the time that I get so big that I'm not taking care of them, now I'm going to lose some other things that I need. Old age, they don't, put me in the nursing home or something like that. But I'm just saying, once you get over that hill of master, and I think people in the black community really stumble over that. From gender, that'll take us to submission with women. Oh, black women and the word submission, whoo, you won't have a problem. Submission to black women is like master to black men.
I gotta disagree.
Come on with it. You have the right to your own opinion. I have the right to be correct.
Whatever, man.
Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay, so a lot of the times in my experience, I often utilize at least the first law with my experience will probably be more so work related. So as I went through the book, because I listened to the book, the full book on audio, I was often listening to it from a standpoint of, okay, that's how I move with y'all MFers at work. Okay, cool. You know. But as far as black women having an issue with submission, I think it's who they're choosing to submit to. So I think if the right person shows up,
Stop. Repeat what you said.
I think it's who they're choosing to submit to.
Okay, I need you to get a sentence behind that and give me a run and start back into that because I want some context.
Man, look.
No. I'm dead serious because I do not want to react wrong to that.
So if they choose to submit to the right people, I don't think they have an issue with being submissive. So I just think it's who they're choosing to not submit to and submit to.
Okay. Yeah, we can come from this in so many different ways. Statistically, 1 in 4 black women are getting married ever. So we kind of see that there is there is some issue within matrimony that is a majority issue within black women. That is numerical, that's just a fact, we can count them. Have you heard of a conversation about submission that there was not a strong dissent if it was involving black women?
I don't know.
Have you heard a conversation that was positive dealing with black anywhere? It could be intellectual, it could be ghetto, it could be family, it could be internet. Have you heard of a conversation that was positive?
Yes.
Okay, please tell me about it.
Yes. So my relationship with a good bit of black women, like I said, what I'm telling you is what I'm hearing. Because like I said, my experience is different than the average black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing is, hey, if the right person shows up, I have no issue submitting.
Oh, so every time you heard it, it wasn't, I have submitted, I do submit. It was, I think, in the right circumstance, like if they give me the right job, I'll work harder. I'm talking about where someone has said to you, I believe in feminine submission. I practice feminine submission. Have you heard that, seen that? Internet, book?
Yes.
Where?
Yes,
Tell me. Not if one day I might.
No, because
Help me.
I've heard women say, hey, yes, I have submitted for this one person. It didn't work like this, so I had to add these things in place. If the right person comes along, I am glad to submit.
Okay.
So it's not that they are not willing. They have tried. It's like, all right, cool. That don't work with you, but let the right person circle around, then we're good.
Okay. Now, by that conversation, I have a problem with the logic. If I submitted before, and I know it was that problem, there was that person, why are we having a conversation about submission? We should be having a problem about people. If I'm with Joe and Joe steals, every time we go out, Joe steals. Now, I know it's not black men that steal. I know it's Joe. But you just told me the context of you all's conversation was, I was out with Joe, and Joe stole. And if I get with the right person again, I don't mind going back out.
But what if that was your first time out with Joe? How would you know that Joe steal?
No.
You don't go into
Right, what I'm
checking
saying
somebody's
is, what I'm saying is, if the next time you go out with a black man, stealing shouldn't come up. Just like if I know that if submission wasn't the issue, I wouldn't be talking about submission later. If you thought the problem was Joel. The problem is with submission if I'm saying, but for and only if again this occurs, I'll do this. If it's like, okay, that was Joel, of course, if I find the right person, submission comes along with it. Or I'm looking for the right person. I want to submit.
I think that's what it is. It's like we're coming from two different sides of the table,
Okay.
trying to meet in the middle somewhere. So I think they
So why
genuinely want to.
Okay. We're going to function from a American, just so we can scope this. We are going to function from a Judeo-Christian American perspective, right? Christian black folk in America, right? Most of that group pull submission by a female from where?
Say it louder, man.
Comes from the word.
Huh?
Comes from the Bible.
Come from the Bible.
Good
Now,
book.
what does the verse,
Joe, why you looking like that?
Good book.
what does the verse right before that say?
Cousin, submit yourself to the Lord.
Then submit themselves to the Lord. Love your wife as Jesus loved the church. Jesus died for the church. Okay? So, men have to love, under the Judeo-Christian structure, men have to love their wives to the point of death. Okay? Women don't have to love their husbands. Not by the Judeo-Christian construct. It says, because now think about it. The man is supposed to be so dedicated to his wife that he would die rather than to see her unhappy. If I have to love my woman like Jesus loved the church, that means my life is worth less than your happiness. You can like it, not like it, whatever. That's where that whole thing comes from. Now, unfortunately, they started reading from submission on and didn't read before that. Under that construct, if a man has elevated his wife properly, her natural inclination will be submission to him because he thinks about her first.
But a lot of us not even making it to wife. So do a lot of men have the same mindset as y'all two, because y'all two are husbands of black women. Let me put that out there. Of black women. Y'all two are husbands. A lot of the men, in what I'm hearing, they may not be moving like that. So therefore, it's almost like a pull and pull. Push and pull. Because y'all get mad that you're not getting submission, but a lot of dudes, that goes back to the generation conversation. They ain't moving like that.
Nah, they're not leaders, so it's like you don't want to submit to somebody who's not a leader.
This is my problem, and this is where the age generation comes in. I don't count go with. I don't count girlfriend.
But that's the stages that we stuck in. You dig what I'm saying?
Stuck is the operative term. What I'm saying is, men, black men, for the purposes of this conversation, are getting married. We good. Somebody gonna marry us. Either the sister gonna marry us, the white lady gonna marry us, the Asian gonna marry us, the Indian lady gonna marry us. We're getting married.
But the black women are only tunnel vision on black men.
No.
A good bit
No.
of them.
Stop.
A good bit of them.
Stop.
Damn near every black woman I know.
This is what you can't get around. We can talk about the scope of our awareness, but that is limited to our awareness. Statistically, 3 out of 4 are not getting married. So you can't tell me,
So if they only focused on dating black men, how would they make it to marriage?
why is it a given construct that they are focused on black men? That is not a given. Why is it a given construct that they are interested in marriage? Because they're still having kids. They're doing that. But marriage
that
is
don't
not
take
going
one.
on. The conversation has become now.
Yeah, how you just
Huh?
put that
What?
off? How you just put that off on women? It'll just take one.
No.
That's two people.
No. I'm saying
Takes two to tango.
Yeah.
no.
It ain't just her.
No, you're not listening to the point I'm making. If one group is getting married, this is what I'm worried about. This is why I care. I got my wife. I can be like, it's our problem, okay? This group of my community is left unprotected. Okay? When your job is going to matter until you retire. Your education is going to matter until you forget it. At some point, you're going to end up 75 and need something off the top shelf. Your job ain't going to help you. Your all of the stuff that black women have put in place of husbands is useless at that point. Because now it's not two brains. If you 5'4" and you got something on the 6-foot shelf, and you 75 years old living by yourself because you didn't get married, who is your husband? Your kids.
So, look, I do feel as though black women need to choose better, and I do feel as though black men need to do better. Now, I'm on the outside looking in because I'm not interested.
This is what alarms me. It always has to be these balanced scales when it comes to criticism or elevation or applause. Black women need to do better, but black men need to. That's not what we're talking about.
We was talking about 48 laws of power.
I understand that. And what we were talking, and the way that we went to that was the word master and how people can't get over particular words, and that gets in the way of their success. And I had made the comparison of black men have trouble with that word moving forward, master, just like our women have a trouble with the word submission, which is stopping them from progression. You are being left unprotected because of some. Now there are many choices. I understand. Now we could talk forever on why that dynamic occurred, because 2 generations of men were pulled out of the community. When they returned for another 2 generations, they're productively behind, which is frustrating. I already understand why we're that way. My issue is what's coming is a full generation of black women left completely unprotected, going from their car to their house by themselves. No one to call when they're walking out from their job to their car, which I never understood the logic of that. It ain't nothing I can do if somebody grabbed my wife between her car and her job, but that makes her feel better. It's like her husband's super testosterone is going to put a force field around her through the cell phone. But that's what I'm saying. We got 2 generations, not thousands, not hundreds of thousands. We are talking 40 million people, 2 generations of them.
So when I offer a perspective, it's not a perspective from a place of it has to be equal. I'm telling you what I see because I'm from the outside looking in, and I kind of got a foot in the door because I date black women. I'm telling you what I see. What they want, they're telling you what they want. Both sides is telling you what they want, but they missing the point. Like they missing each other completely. One side is saying, hey, I want submission, submission. The other side is saying, hey, I want a better person to submit to. That's all I'm saying. They still trying to get to each other. They just missing it.
I am hearing and seeing, hey, I want. See, you didn't grow up through No Romance Without Finance. You did.
Okay.
See what we
Elaborate.
Okay, well,
We don't know.
it's just that. No romance without finance.
It's called tricky.
You ain't got no money.
They still do it.
Okay?
They still do
And
that,
you have to understand, when you're talking about better people, slaves got married. We married at an 80 percentile when it was illegal. Okay? I couldn't protect you. Master say, bring her up here.
In front of you.
I couldn't do.
So what do you think the problem is?
No.
From your
Let me
perspective.
keep going. Let me
Okay.
keep going. Because it didn't just stop there. In Jim Crow, you think Emmett Till's uncle did not look horrible in front of his wife when they came in there and said, give me that boy? And he had to. Because he knew they're going to kill everybody in here if I don't. But we were still married at the 80th percentile in Jim Crow. All the way up until the war on drugs. So don't tell me that black women have not understood and bent and negotiated to the situations and circumstances of black men. That they have always had the ability to see the best in us when they made a desire
I think
to.
they have. I think they're tired of being let down. They're tired of getting their heart broken. Like I said, black women do need to choose better, but black men need to be better.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. Choosing to be alone is still a bad choice. Number one, you attract you. I don't understand how Kevin Samuel was a blessing to the generation.
You gonna get canceled.
No.
That's
Because
the story right there.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you
Lined
why.
up.
He let people speak their truth. He didn't say, this is what I think about black women, this is what I think about black women. They was calling. They were calling. So not only was it in their head, they thought it was okay to say.
First of all, half of the people that I heard had completely unrealistic expectations. Like, completely.
Baby.
I just said choose better.
Who done dated more black women, me or you?
Me?
Okay?
I just-
That's what I'm telling you. Yes.
I'm-
Yes, we got sisters that want a six-figure brother, either already in place or one that they didn't help build. And will stay by themselves. But this is the crazy part. I'm gonna have the babies with the broke dude.
I said
These are
choose better.
choices.
I'm being honest about the situation. Yes, they do need to choose better.
But now here's my question. But do the black men got to be better?
They do.
Wait a minute, stop.
You
Stop.
can't- you can't.
Do you
No,
know how
no.
big of a gap there is between the six-figure brother and broke Willie that's having, do you know the majority of black men, 50% of black men over 30 are unmarried without kids? Did you know that?
No, I'm not looking.
It
for a
is
check for
only
you.
about 16% of black men over 25 with a bunch of kids that's not married. So that means black women are selected a very.
That goes back to
it's
what I'm
too-
saying. Choose
Hold it.
better.
No. I'm making a point. I'm choosing a very small percentage on this end that is just not worth anything. They're going to sit on your couch and play PlayStation till you make them leave. Or they're going to go for the upper 9% that's got so much of their life together, they don't need you. Why are y'all too good for the plumbers and the carpenters and the guy making $48,500? And yeah, you making $100,000, but he'll watch the kids and he'll hang your clothes up and he'll do all of that. That's also a choice too. So we're talking about guys got to be better, but there are some wonderful brothers
I never said that.
No, yes, you did.
No,
what
I
you
didn't.
said was we gotta be better, and I'm saying there are.
That goes into both sectors.
No,
We have to choose better
which
as
is
women,
why I'm
and
telling
men
you,
have to be
everything cannot be a sandwich.
Okay.
It's like, well, I'm not going to say anything bad about black women unless I say something bad about black men. Or I'm
I
not going to
never
say
said
anything
that.
bad about black men.
I never said that.
Okay, but this is what I was telling you when you introduced me to Kevin Samuel.
I didn't. Well,
You did what? You did.
I said it.
What?
I said it.
You
from
didn't
a
introduce me to Kevin
I
Samuel.
said it from a standpoint of cancel his ass.
Yes, you did. And
Look at this.
yeah, and I said, well, before I go into Rage Against the Machine, let me listen to what you're talking about. In fact, that's what we were talking about. You were saying these people say these black men say all this hateful stuff, and I'm going, I'm not seeing that on the internet. And I said, tell me where to find this black male hate toward black women. And you said Kevin Samuel. So I said, okay, cool. Now I go on there and brother is sharp. Sharp. Wish I could be that sharp. Brother was sharp. And I'm going, okay. And when he started off, I'm like, am I right or wrong? And I'm listening. And I was amazed at how you hopped over the women. Just full of ain't got, handful of nothing, mouthful of multiplies, talking about what they deserve. I tell my wife all the time, you deserve way more than me. But what you got is me.
This is what you got.
You know what I'm saying? We can't live in a life. When you function in a mindset of, if I don't get what I deserve, I'll have nothing. That creates a whole lot of sociological problems. And what I'm saying is, our black women have apparently.
Well, maybe y'all need to have this conversation with a black woman that's actually interested in y'all. Because I literally be trying to tell you what is being told through me, because you know what I'm saying, I'm in a precarious situation where it's like I'm getting information from both sides. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing what you're saying, don't get me wrong, mm-hmm. some parts of it. Mm-hmm. But I'm also telling y'all, okay, this is what black women is saying.
My wife is an elder. Okay? Mm-hmm. She gives wise counsel and she works in nursing. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of women of color. Mm-hmm. Most of them, obviously, by the statistics, are not married. The general conversation that she functions with is the expectation of, I will rise to the occasion if the worthy occasion comes to me. Mm-hmm. But some people, life is just given to them. Right. Just things just happen. Well, you got to find out, am I that person? Mm-hmm. If you're not, like the person I was when Tamika met me, she probably walked past now because she has made me into a whole nother class of dude. She had to be willing to do the work and was willing for me to plateau at any point in between there and now. Our sisters ain't willing to do that. That's not.
I think that's not.
My question is because I'm looking at Law 1, right, and a couple of things kind of stand out. Is it based upon the perception of authority that allows someone to yield to that person's power? Because in here it says everyone is insecure, but an insecure boss can retaliate more strongly than others can. And so understanding that there is some insecurity in the relationship, so those individuals who are insecure perceive that individual to be the one who has the authority and the power to get them what they need. And well, I think that, because I don't have a whole chapter, right?
Well, here's a summary of Law 1 from the book.
Right.
always make those above you feel comfortably superior.
Mm-hmm.
In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity
Right.
in them.
Right.
Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power.
Exactly right. So the perception of the authority allows me to maneuver in a situation where I'm going to gain and get what I need in the long run.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a lot of times I don't care if it's dating situations, if it's marital situations, if it's situations at the job or with colleagues. Those individuals who are perceived to have the power or who is perceived to be the master is the one who's going to be catered to until you get to a point to where you become the master. And therefore you have less reliance on those individuals unless you always have to go back to that master in order to get more knowledge or to glean something more.
That's what makes them a master.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
part of being a master is knowing who the masters are.
Exactly right.
So a master is always the master,
Right.
you know, because when my grandmother was in the final stages of dementia,
Mm-hmm.
she was still the master. She was still the matriarch.
Mm-hmm.
The master was orbiting around her to make sure she was okay.
Right.
Her smile could make me do dot 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 dot.
Yes.
That's that energy because when you really talk about what a master is, that's how your kid can be a master. Everything that I am orbits around my children, and you see me with my kids, and you know that. So even though I'm in charge, who's being served?
Right.
Them. So it's not because I think when you are everything that we do for ourselves. Everything that we do. I'm not married to my wife because I love my wife.
Right.
I'm married to her because I love the way she makes me feel about me, so I keep her around so I can keep that feeling about me. That's
The speaker, he love you.
I'm saying that's the psychological premise, but to a very large extent it's true. At the point that I am doing what I'm doing to gain a particular outcome, now we're talking about manipulation, which is different than serving a master.
Okay, but in that premise, does the master do what they do because they themselves need to be served? Or do they do what they do in service of others so they can be served? Or is it a matter of service at all?
The best way I can explain it would be under the guise of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Just being you draws people to your masterdom.
Right.
It's not, I'm not serving so you'll see me serve, or or trying to draw people so they can. I'm just being me. And this is what happens. Everybody's not a master, or everybody is a master. It just depends. I don't think you can make yourself a master. Hence, I'm doing this to get this reaction. You can want to be, but masters are a matter of perception.
Right.
And they are a natural product.
Right, because masters are not true masters are not self-aggrandizing.
I will agree to that.
I think true masters are those individuals who understand that there's a higher purpose for why service needs to be done anyway.
Okay.
As Jesus says, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men. I will draw all men unto me. All right. Not that he wants or seeks that power, but he wants to give everybody else that power. In
Or
order for them
certain
to,
things are just a
be
matter of
serviced.
fact.
Of course.
Now again, I am not saying that the Bible is fact.
Right.
I am saying if indeed you subscribe to that ideology,
Yes.
if indeed I am who I am, I'm telling you what the fact is. It's
Right.
not. It's not.
Right.
Oh, I'm Jesus. No, I'm telling you, if this happens, this is the case because of by way of who I am. I'm giving you information.
And giving the conversation that you two were having in response to male and female.
Mm-hmm.
I think where the conflict comes in is that men or perceived male power is always the default. In situations where somebody should act or be a certain way or should be man. I think for men it is a default that you be a man regardless of your experiences. That's why I think women have sometimes a skewed perception of what manhood should be like, because what they've heard or seen to be manly is not always shown the way that they perceive manhood to be.
I think too many generations have passed where
course.
too many women do not know what a man is, and they are functioning from a feminine ideal of a man.
Or would you also say that in regards to men as well? Because in order to be one, you have to be shown that you are one.
No, that's not true. Because you can only hang on to. Some people are just born with do right in them.
Right.
Some people look at the situation and go, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are brothers who find manhood or masculine leadership and get on track just because it's not around them. I think it's harder for women to find masculine leadership because of the attractive nature. If I go and I find an elder that I'm trying to get close to, where it depends on him, me, and also nature, is if this goes the right way as to where a brother that's less likely for that to happen. So I think that reduces immensely in sport. It's so many ways that you're going to find masculine energy as a male that's different than how a female would. Whereas I can be on the football team and I can have coaches from the time Pop Warner to adulthood that, like right now, I can call my last NBA coach. I can text him right now. He's going to text me right back. I haven't seen Muss in 15 years. So I think we create different masculine energy than women do, which is why we're seeing a different outcome. Because I keep going back to the numbers. Everybody's talking about what's fair. Well, men need to do this. Yeah, women need to do this, but men need to do. You have a problem, not us.
No,
You have a problem. We're getting married.
But-
we got somebody to take care of us.
Back to y'all point earlier when y'all were talking about you being able to call your coach. Do you realize for women, elderly women who are married, a good bit of them are not there. So like Joel and I told you, as far as generations and you being big you being big I can reach out to y'all too now that I've established a relationship with y'all. Ask me how many women I can reach out to.
That's what I'm telling you.
I can reach out to your wife now because I've created that
But-
dynamic. So if there,
feel you.
so if there is not married women elders out there, well, sis, let me put you on game. You don't do that. This how you move.
Got you. You're drowning and you're describing the water. Okay? I'm telling you, most of us don't understand that you were drowning. Or why? Because if I see I'm in this situation, my conversation stops talking about you. It starts talking about what I need to do. Because brothers are
That's
getting...
how y'all operate. Women don't operate like that.
You're still not listening to me. The women, how they operate is trending the wrong way. 3 out of 4 are left unprotected. So we're saying therein lies the problem. So, well, we don't operate like that. Yes.
So if the example that we have is Cardi B, which is married. No, I'm serious. Met Nicki Minaj, which is married. So these are the people who telling our youth, telling our juveniles, hell, telling the millennials, hey, treat a dude like this, do that, do that. If Auntie ain't in the picture, that's what we got. Shake ass, do that, do this, do that. So you telling us that it's a problem, and we're telling you, hey, well, maybe we don't know how to be submissive. This is the fucking example we got.
Yeah. We completely understand that. It's a matter. Now, fault is a completely different conversation, because why black women are in this situation is not a result of their own. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we have to understand what they say in the 12-step program, the first step is understand there is a problem. When I'm in my 30s and 40s, me being single ain't really that big of a problem. It's really not, because I can keep some company. I'm getting my bread, I'm getting my education, all of that. As all of us get older, it becomes more difficult to attract people to us. By the time you notice that it's a problem, you're already set in your ways. All of our looks go as we get older. Now, we're in a real conundrum of just Vivica Fox. It's a big thing. She was on some TV show where she's 60 and now saying she ready to find the love of her life. Now you, at one time, you was one of the most beautiful women in the country, and that wasn't on your mind. Well, now you're about 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight. You're old. Everybody looking at the young women. You set in your ways. So that's what I'm saying. It's out of that concern. Our sisters are making decisions and not even noticing where this train is headed. We got 2 generations, probably 3, that's heading toward eldership alone. They don't know what health problems are. They don't know, oh, I have cancer. Try going through chemo without somebody to give you rides back and forth.
And Doc, that's something you say that because women that I know, I may have known like 10, 15 years ago, that's her age now, wouldn't have said that.
What?
That I'm on the hunt. I need to get married. I need to find somebody.
Okay.
That they wouldn't have ever said that.
Mm.
Which, because if they don't game, their game makes them look more desirable to somebody who's looking.
Okay.
So as y'all say, she look kind of thirsty, right? So somebody my age, I'm not gonna be too attracted to that.
Mm.
Because I'm looking as if, one, what makes me qualified in your eyes? Because I know I'm qualified, right? But what makes me qualified in your eyes for me to be in your company, for you to figure out if I'm qualified? Because I'm going to obviously do something that, because she's seen too much. I think because she's seen so much, her standard of perception is way up here. I don't care what she says she wants down here. Her perception is way up here. So my question would be, how does she think she's going to navigate to find someone that's going to meet all of those standards that she thinks she needs in her life at the moment? Somebody should have pulled her coattail and said, hey, sis, don't put yourself out there like that. Folk know you looking anyway.
Well, you know what? I'm glad she did. I'm glad she spoke up. I'm glad she spoke her truth, because it takes somebody with money and looks and fame and all that to go, I did this the wrong way around. When I should have got the best dude walking when I was the best sister walking. But again, not trying to quote Kevin Samuel, but what product gets worth more with age and use? You done got used up. You don't look like you. None of us are done used to. So I'm not just talking about.
Right.
But it's different. I tell my wife all the time, you ain't got to be the finest woman in the place no more. We passed that. I was with you when you was. I got that. That was good. We done got old together. We're good. You trying to catch somebody with that kind of emotion coming into your worst. No. And that's what I'm saying when I bring about this sense of urgency, is because I care about my community. And I'm seeing, when I say this is a problem that is existing with our sisters start talking about us, which was what I was saying about your statement. Well, the black men are getting married. They got somebody to hold their hand on their deathbed. They got somebody to talk to them when they in the nursing home. They got that. They're getting married. You're not even getting married. You don't even got a bad marriage. Like, you're not getting married at all. I don't think that's out of a lack of attraction, because they're having kids. So I'm saying, yes, we're not talking about fault. It's not you put yourself in that situation. It's not this person needs to do something different. Wait a minute. I don't want it to be when it's on the cover of People in Newsday and all of these magazines about all of these unprotected senior citizen black women, that's something needs to be done to make sure that they're okay. No one is looking at, they're looking at where this train is right now. They're not looking at this train 10 years from now. That bothers me. I have parents in their 70s and watching the health problems that come up and losing a child. My parents went just like this. If you're blessed with longevity, blessing, double-edged sword. You're going to outlive some people that you didn't think you was going to outlive. Could you imagine going through losing a child by yourself? These are the things that I think about. That's not a, well, you got to do better, you got to do that. No, some stuff is not a ping pong game. Sometimes it's just a batting ball. Y'all don't know nothing about the batting ball. It's a rubber band with a ball on it, played by yourself. That's what.
Paddleball.
Paddle ball. That's what I'm talking about. See, with batting ball when we was young.
We could agree to disagree. I don't agree. That's on y'all.
And that's why the situation, that's my sense of urgency. Because we just going to agree to disagree. Somebody needs to learn something. Because if we continue, because the numbers don't lie.
You talking to somebody who
Oh, no,
ain't
no,
got
I'm
skin
not,
in the game.
no.
I could care less.
But I'm telling you, I care. You have the ability not to care. But I don't. I'm not made up like that. I could say, My grandparents were married to death. My great-grandparents were married to death. My brother was married to death. My parents will surely be married to death. I'm going to be married to death. It is not my problem what happens to all of these people in my community. I don't care. I'm good. I could. But I'm not wired that way. And when I see them, I see my aunts. I see my sisters. I see my cousins. I see my friends. I see my wife. I don't want any black woman to be heading toward a burning stable and nobody saying anything. And I know I am not the smartest sociologist, that I'm the only person that sees this. That is a crisis that someone needs to pay attention to so we all can fix it. But this is not about the blame game or what something somebody else can do, because if black men make whatever kind of adjustment and we find that the outcome is purposeful, if you don't recognize the value of marriage completely, and there are many reasons why not to. Like you said, this has been going on so long. There's a whole lot of black women that's not married, so we don't have the sisterhood to say, oh, when your husband cheat, that happened to me, it ain't just you, blah, 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 this, that, and the other.
But when you have women who offer their insight, their opinion, and who telling you what other straight black women are saying, it's like a mocking this, that, and the third. It's like, all right, well, shit, figure it out. I don't have no skin in the game, like I said. I can care less. I am telling y'all what is being said.
You do. You do, because these are your aunts, these are your cousins, these are your grandparents.
Nigga, when the last time I talked to my aunt? Let's be real. These people are not showing up in millennials' lives.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, at some point, it is likely that as you age, you'll become to think less. Like I told you many times before, how I see it, the first half of your life is about you, and the second half of your life is about everybody else. So perhaps in time, you will see, I got a very short time to make an imprint on society. And I want to live a life of virtue that impacts wherever I'm here for this 80, 90 years. So it becomes a little broader than me, mine, and I. The greatest sign of eldership is to plant a tree for whose shade you'll never sit under. By the time the tree gets big enough to cast shade, you'll never get to enjoy it, meaning you did something for people you'll never meet. That's where we're trying to get. As an elder, that's what we're trying to put out into our young people. That it's about what we're doing for the future. It's about what we're doing for those who we don't know. It's not, I'm going to do it if it benefits me or if it's connected to me. It becomes bigger as you move into eldership. Because your life is just going to be what your life is. But there is a reason why we're here. There's a reason why we interact. There's a reason why we meet. There's 7 billion people on Earth. There's a reason why I met you. That is almost an impossibility for me to meet you. So why? And how do we maximize that? That's what I'm saying. And it's really funny how Never Outside the Master took us to You know,
Joe was right. Joe said we ain't getting the 5.
I told you. I told you. She said we gonna do the first 21. I said 21. we gonna do 1.
It's a lot of meat on that bone, baby.
Mr. G, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just looking at these that are in front of me. There's a lot. It's a lot of stuff on here. I mean, you could take one and speak ad nauseum in terms of what the possibilities are. I mean, number 2 is even just is very interesting.
Go ahead on, bring in number 2, Mr. G.
But I like number 4 and 5. I ain't gonna
All right. Look,
all right, hey, anyone.
Okay, let's go with number 4. Go ahead.
So, looking at 4, right?
Okay.
Always say less than necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Say as little to be ambiguous, leaving the meanings of others to interpret. The less you say, the more intimidating and powerful you are. And I like that because that resonates a lot with what I'm a firm believer that you don't always let people know what hand you playing with.
Never let the left hand know what the right hand does.
Yeah, you just never know. Until I can understand really now. If I understand number 1, I understand 4 and 5, right? So I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna say the poker player, but I think my philosophy is let them talk more than you. Because and that kind of feeds into number 2, right? So by doing so, I figure out more about the direction of the relationship and the expectations that individuals have, as opposed to what am I trying to achieve.
I definitely think there's a difference between personal and professional.
Most definitely.
You end up saying it behooves you in situations that you have a high level of distrust, which is pretty much anything outside your home, to never let people know what you're thinking. Parenting, not so much. Marriage, not so much. Mentoring, not so much. When you get to the age, just to put it crassly, people your age is dying, I gotta give this. Because I don't know. Tomorrow is not promised. Okay? So, it does me no good to sit at this table and, let me see what Joel say. Let me see. If I'm quiet, it's because I'm trying to balance the conversation. And I want, you to come out and blossom and think and work on it. I have little reason to withhold any knowledge from you. So I'm going to try to say it as much as possible, and with your kids and with your wife, and even with my parents. My parents are boomers, baby boomers. And they come from that, don't tell your kids how much money you made, don't let nobody know what you have. And I've been telling them, look, y'all going to end up in a hefty bag. I don't know what no insurance policies are. I don't know. Come on down. We dropping like flies. Y'all need to break that secrecy stuff. My grandfather, when my father bought a single family house. And my grandfather said, oh, that's nice, but if it was me, I'd have bought an apartment building. Now, he's the generation before the baby boomers. I don't even know what that is. they didn't do a whole lot of explaining. Boy, that would have helped if he would have explained to my father at 20-something years old the difference between equity and mortgage, difference between income, property, and single-family home. Right? So personally, I think it's completely the opposite. I think anything outside your home, yeah, for sure.
So in the power dynamic, is Green referring to more, or could be a little bit of both? Is we referring to more relationships within, I mean, from a personal standpoint or from a business standpoint?
I think these type of people,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to sound really, really bad, don't have family. Family does not mean the same thing to everybody. It's either kill or be killed. It's, you know, I don't have, well, this is how I do business, but this is the kind of man I am. You know, because think about it, kings and queens, you know, when they in succession to the crown, they used to kill each other.
Sure did.
You know, so yeah, that's family.
included.
So I think people who have really embodied these Machiavellian, Sun Tzu types of personalities are generally on the far end, sociopathic.
On the fringe.
Huh?
On the fringe.
I think to put them on the fringe is being nice. Because think about it. You have to be sociopathic for slavery to participate in.
Most definitely.
You had to be sociopathic to participate in Jim Crow. You have to be sociopathic to ignore what's happening now to Native Americans. You have to be sociopathic to ignore now that 10% of the population is half of the prison population. You know, yes, we have cognitive dissonance, but there is a high degree of, you have to be sociopathic to look at the George Floyd situation and say he died because he was on drugs and overlook, well, his knee wasn't really on the guy's neck, his knee was on his shoulder. Why was his knee anywhere near him?
Okay.
Why, you know, so there is to still blame black people's situation on them, poor people's situation on them, Native American situation on them, underpaying of women situation on them. There is a high degree of sociopathic behavior. And we shouldn't be surprised because our country was founded on that.
Of course.
These are just the kids of those people. So I don't think that the most of the people that really take this book seriously, I would be surprised how often that question even came up by the readers of, is this a personal or a professional endeavor?
I mean,
I think this is
as somebody who read the
Who
book,
am
I believe it actually came from more of a professional standpoint.
I feel like
than
everything in
family.
there was all either business or war. I didn't really think
Yeah.
family in any of
At
that
all.
but we're
Now you the only one who brought it, like, looped in family, where it's like, oh, okay, I probably would move differently, but as somebody, as a reader who was directly going into it, my mind instantly went to work. I was like, okay, mother.
Yeah, I always read it as either a work business
Yeah.
or a war. Maybe we like war.
Yeah.
You know, but
This came out of, and that I did not bring my glasses, but this came out of religion.
Okay.
This came out of the people moving up through realms of power within service, within systems that are allegedly love. So
you don't
I've
feel like
been
religion
just-
can fall under the business
Oh no,
umbrella.
it definitely
Shit, it is a
it
business.
definitely applies. We can see that in industry.
Yeah, it's definitely business.
But I'm saying the historical nature. Okay, think about it. Slavery was a business.
Yes.
The Homestead Act was a business.
Yes.
It wasn't business to the Native Americans.
No.
It wasn't business to the country of Mexico that had all them states taken away from. Slavery was not a business to us, but it was a business. And I had to be able to apply these without passion or prejudice, without looking at this baby that's about to be sold. So where does business and humanity just part ways? In this country, it doesn't. We work currency, and still our currency. And we can go into a whole lot of reasons as to why that still serves to be true. But that's what I'm saying. Poverty is the biggest business in America.
It's nasty.
Poverty is created.
Yes.
We got enough food. We got food going bad. Everybody should be able to eat.
Worldwide.
Everybody should be able to eat. Everybody can have a house. We purposely make it where A, you can't have a house, and B, it's hard to get one.
But we tell
So-
you where you can't buy one.
Right? So that's a business. For you to have a house or not have a house, it's called mortgages. And that's a mortgage industry. And how do you move up through the mortgage industry? Can you make soft decisions and move up? No. But guess what it's ultimately going to come to? Personal, families. Because if you deal in commodities, commodities' only value is the extent to which they're used by the people.
Well, can we jump into number 2 then?
Give it to me. Don't
Never,
forget.
because we talking about family, but I feel like we could. It says friends, but I feel like we could throw family in there. It says
All
never
right, let's
put too
go.
much trust in your friends. Learn how to use your enemies. So in this situation, we talking about family. It'd be like, if I'm doing business, you really don't want to do business with family because that's when shit intersects, and now I got to start using my 48 laws of power tactics on my family. I don't really want to do that. So they're like, hey, use your enemies, because I can fire you, I can do whatever I need to do whenever I need to. Hey, keep your friends and families something else separate.
Man, my grandma told me just a couple months ago, she fired damn near everybody. I think she fired my mama once a month. I'm not bullshit, but she, like, to see her in that light, in that perspective, I was like damn, like how could you fire my mama every Friday? Like, I don't get it. But I get it from a business standpoint. If you come to work making my damn business a living hell for X, Y, and Z, you gotta be fired. Now I'm gonna hire your ass back. But I gotta let you know that I'm willing to cross this line.
But look at the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Kennedys. It's Sears and Roebuck. It's entities that we think of as companies. Those are family names. What I'm saying is, if everybody functions like this, it's not strange. If daddy gonna do you and you gonna do daddy, it's people that take their parents' companies over.
Yep.
I'm saying it's different. It's different worlds.
So do you think that they operate from the standpoint of, instead of it being like, although it's a family name, it may benefit the entire family, but we going directly to an heir. Like, we gonna figure out, is Joe, is Dr. Bolton, is Mr. G the best one to run this doggone company?
That's what I studied. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Fairness ain't got nothing to do with it.
Gotcha.
It's not 25, 25, 25, 20. No.
Majority share.
You get 100.
Yeah.
But your obligation is to take care of them.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something I particularly studied. But
Mhm.
getting back to friends, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Because
I think it's true. I want to say I don't say never put trust in your friends, but I think your enemies will work harder for you than your friends will,
Okay.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
because they have something to prove. You know what I'm saying? Your friends feel like, oh, that's my boy, so if, like, even if I don't get the job done, we still gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Your enemies know, like, yo, if I don't get this job done, he gonna fire me and get some. I'm gonna be replaced.
I think
Well,
the difference is
what-
the expectation.
What? How he
Yeah.
was explaining that was, you take your enemy and you make an enemy your friend. They are so beholden to you, out of guilt for, man, I was wishing bad on you and you really the truth. So I'm extra down with you as opposed to your friend that was always, always, the only thing you and your friend can do is fall out. This person, we went from bad to good, and now they're like, you have proven to me to be a person of wealth, a person of worth. So that's why your enemies that have now turned friends are going to serve you, just like the conversation that I was having, where I could have today in that business situation where I could have flown off the handle. My staying cool allowed him to see the situation, and the greater likelihood is going to be he's going to work harder because he put himself on that side of the fence. And I said, no, bro, you don't belong over there. You belong on the side of love. Man, see, I shouldn't have did that. I'm going to make sure I double up. So, but now my issue is with friends. I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody. I really don't. I really don't. I would trust people with stuff I can lose. Like, however much money I can afford to not get back is how much I loan you. Now, is that off? Because
I think it depends on the length of the relationship. So like originally meeting people, I'm very like I gotta figure out who you are.
No.
Now once I figure out it's safe, all right, let me open up the gate for you. But other than that, it's like I don't know about you yet. Let me figure it out. Back up.
So, does it change?
Yeah, with at least for me, with time, and to see, like I have to see how you operate, and I really pay attention to how you treat others, especially when they can't do nothing for you.
Oh yeah. Now what people do with you, they'll do to you.
Exactly. I was like, shit, I'm next on the list, partner.
Yeah.
I'm next on the list.
Oh yeah. But if anybody remains a friend too long, that means I don't trust them.
Break that down.
My oldest friend I've known since I was 13. I consider him my brother. He can come in my house and do whatever because ain't nothing in my house he can't have. I don't care. He took it. I don't care. You can have it. If you just a friend, I still got that side. You can come to the Christmas party. I'm going to tell you. You've been to my party. House is full. Trust them niggas. In fact, I'm going to list everybody. No. I'm trying to be light.
Told me that if I went in there.
Especially y'all two.
Man, Joe was on Joe table tree.
Yeah, I know he's still.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, think about it.
Pocket full of Christmas on.
Yeah, do you really?
Joey, you can't.
Think about it. If somebody is not family, and they're in this no man's land of somebody I met and family, just floating in this little friend zone.
What's wrong with that? They friends.
Yeah.
No, I ain't everybody. Ain't
Well, I
gonna be
mean,
close
okay,
to me.
so why are you? Okay, if you're my friend for give me a good length of time for a friend. What's a good length of time? That's a friend.
Like that's the shoe. I mean, me and my best friend, we've been locked in since middle school, so that gotta be over 15 years.
15 years. Okay,
Yeah.
you've been on the job 15 years and you ain't got promoted. Should you get fired or leave?
Well, it depends on what you're doing. You buying rental properties, then?
Well, no, if you know that's not on the job. That's on in your own business. I'm serious. If you're holding a position in a company and in 15 years you ain't elevated,
I mean, it depends on how much you getting paid, what you trying to do, what you like. I feel like
okay, whatever
is
you
there a
getting
promotion
paid, you've been getting paid
available?
for 15 years.
If it's good money, it's good money. What you?
That's why you a friend. I'm just saying. That's just how I feel about it. Like,
I feel like not everybody's gonna get close to you. Not everybody in my life do I even want close to me. So
which is why.
I'm cool with you being in the friend zone. You come to the Christmas party, then
So
leave.
you don't
Then
you
leave.
don't really trust your friends.
So
Oh, yeah, I
are they
trust
more of a
nobody.
friend or an associate?
And that's where folks start splitting hairs. Associate. What's the other word they use?
Colleague.
Colleague. Look, you got folks I don't know and family. Everybody's like, a friend is something.
But remember, I said if you my friend, like I have friends that I consider family.
Yeah.
That's family. Then.
That's family.
Okay,
but then I got friends.
They graduate.
But then I have friends that can stay where they at.
and that's what I'm saying.
What's wrong with that?
You don't trust them.
That's fine.
But that's that.
Goddamn,
But that's, so
Joe.
that's what I'm saying. Is a friend. It's okay. Is there such
Matter of
thing
fact-
as a friend?
Wow, that.
They a friend. That's all they are. They ain't family.
But that's what I'm saying. You said that some people that graduate.
And some
If
people
you
don't.
didn't graduate and you got time and circumstances, that means you got the side eye.
Maybe we just didn't get close though. I feel like it's not always after I gotta look at this person wrong. We might just not watch the same shit and do the same shit all the time. Like, yo, you nice when we meet each other and we have two things in common, but that's it. Like, we ain't finna be buddies.
I think those who are close to me sharpen me, and I sharpen them.
Iron sharpen iron.
Because if I can, then I'm like you. I'm
But the
more-
best people for that are people you don't like.
Well, to some degree, well, it depends on what my perspective. It depends on where I am. It depends on where my goals are.
Okay,
It
talk to me.
it depends on what I ultimately want to achieve. That goes back to this right here. I mean, they cannot be my friend. Or they can even be they can even be my enemy. But do they respect what I do and who I am?
Can somebody respect you and not like you?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
I know you said a lot of people respect Kobe and didn't like him when they was playing.
Dave, I'm pretty sure a
We
lot
know
of
you.
people who hear the things that you say without knowing who you are, who probably do not like you, but they respect you as a person.
So many people connect
What you say with who you are.
what they like with how they feel.
Okay.
The first time I was introduced to that was in high school. I went to a visual and performing arts school, and the people could not like somebody and go, "Oh man, he a bad saxophone player."
Mm-hmm.
And everybody up to my life was like, if I didn't like you, I'm not gonna say nothing nice about you whatsoever. So it's people that will be on my page and see the title of the page.
Mm-hmm.
And because they don't like what I said, say I'm uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
Open a book.
Nigga, the book is in the video.
I'm actually
Videos about
right, and I'm probably talking about a book, you know, or a plethora of books. But that's what I'm saying. So many, I think in many, I'd say in most cases, people's respect is very much attached to their feelings. It takes a very evolved mind to separate themselves.
Right.
Most people are very narcissistic. It's about
And
me.
I think a lot of that revolves around these 48, whatever. I think you have to have a level of narcissism in order to understand really how this connects with individuals.
I agree.
But going back to, you said something that caught me. I think that the line of envy and respect can be pretty fine.
I think you could probably get more respect from envy
Yeah.
than dislike. Like if I like some people only dislike you because for me to envy something, there is a quality, circumstance, or
That
situation
you want to have.
that I see is elevated in you.
That I need.
So it's starting from something positive. But if I just don't like you and I don't like what you said, I think this is fine line. Fine line. I think out of envy, the envy in itself came out of admiration. So it's really not dislike. It's you got some emotional issues
Right.
on how you're
Right.
doing it. But no, I don't know if people can.
I think it's a mature thing. I think the more mature people can see somebody and break down the different characteristics, even if they don't like them. Okay, I respect what they do here, but I think immature people would not.
So are most people mature?
No.
Give me some numbers. What percentage of, we're gonna say America, what percentage, just in your scope, we know that we're not gonna test this, what,
25 maybe.
25% mature?
I feel like I'm being generous. But I feel like I'm being generous.
I think
24.3.
I think that's hard to quantify. I think it depends on what areas that we consider to be mature. Whether it be finances, whether it be career, whether it be I think it's hard to quantify a lot of that. I think to the individual, I think it may be if I'm an individual, I may give my own experience in percentages. But I think to say an aggregate number for everybody, I think it's kind of difficult.
if we're doing, history is going to be broad. There's always going to be
Oh, yeah.
exceptions, and so, and then it's going to be from his experience, and just, if I had to just say for me, okay, we understand that that's there. We're not, going to write that in stone, but I am saying, just in the parents you run into, the kids you run into, the administrations you run into, the school people you run into. Think about, just on my daily interaction, how many people really seem to function in a mature way? Now, we understand that ebbs and flows, because you may have a principal that's great at running the school, but he may function in a particular situation
Right.
out of
Right.
selfishness or immaturity or this, that, and the other. But, broadly speaking, I think a lot of people are financially immature. A lot of successful people are financially immature. I think a lot of people are emotionally, romantically immature. They're carrying baggage from 5 boyfriends back, or
Emotional intelligence.
yeah, I think we're developmentally immature. I heard some of the best advice. It sounded very cold, but it was excellent advice. Person saying, when I was young, my parents used to do this. And the guy said, "How old are you?" 28. Get over it. At some point,
You're right.
I'm responsible for what happens from today forward. Yes, things happen and this, that, and the other, and we cannot do nothing about how we started off.
Right.
But we have a degree of influence on how we finish. And A lot of that is maturity. Can I let that go? Do I have the power to let that go? Do I have the mindset to recognize my situation? That's not my fault, going back to the black women situation we were talking about. I can look at a situation and say, this is not my fault. Now what? I had no power over growing up in what was ultimately to be what CNN voted as the worst place to live in America. I had no control over that. The murder capital of the country. I had no control over that. I had control over to the extent to which I participated in what was around me. Then, when I got a little older, I had a degree of influence as to whether I stayed there. And then. So at some point, when does what I can't control turn into I've made a conscious effort to live in that?
And I think that's kind of reflective of law number 2.
Law number 2?
Which is what Joe had mentioned a while ago. How much? I think the reason why I'm probably more reluctant to hire folk who are close to me because they're too emotionally close to the fight. And going back to what we talked about early in the conversation, even before we started, having folk work with you who you feel like you have to be logically and emotionally responsible for is a very, very heavy burden. Like I can't make, and we talked about this earlier, it's difficult to make a business or a logical decision and an emotional decision at the same time. It's virtually impossible. You're going to lean more heavy toward one or the other.
Marriage was the best thing to happen to me.
But it was illogical.
To make me able to do that. Actually, marriage was illogical.
It's very illogical.
Marriage, oh God, just on a daily basis is illogical.
Just not big.
But I've learned, like in that situation, Joel probably wouldn't have made that same decision. See, I learned being married, if you're not good with money, I got to make enough money as to where you can make all your mistakes and we're fine.
Yeah.
I know if nephew got these problems, I have to set this up where nephew can still eat, but he's not going to upset the entire apple cart. So now my mind is over, how am I going to take care of you so you will have the top, you're not going to learn what you need to learn as fast as I need you to learn it. But young Darnell would be like, hey, you got to straighten up, fly right. You got to, look, and now that's going to cause tension. So now I have to go, okay, how do I take care of nephew so he can still develop, but this is going to be slower than I thought. I'm going to have to make some moves that's going to work around that.
Don't you think that's law number 4 though?
What's law number 4? Talk to me. You ain't got my glasses.
Say
Oh,
you
no.
would say less than that wasn't necessary.
That's why I said what I said.
Yes, that's business.
When you was talking about Janelle, you said I can't tell him it like this. I'm gonna we gonna have to go the long way.
Now I did not say that these are not transferable. It's some stuff I know not to tell my wife. It's it's some stuff. And
I know you tell her everything.
oh man, it's some
How
stuff.
your business?
And really, if you really want to get into it, the longer you've been married, to know you was sure, it's some stuff you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, cheating. I told Mika, look, don't clear your conscience at my expense. What I don't know, don't hurt me. Okay? Don't give me nothing to play in my head over and over again. Don't tell me.
Because I'm going to say yes everything.
Yes, if you did it, stop it. And that's between you and the Lord. Don't try to. Well, I told him, Jesus. That's between you and the Lord. I don't want to know. So that's what. Yes, you're very. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that because I wouldn't be reading the book if I didn't find value in it. But it's like it's kind of like cyanide in the bit that I've read. It's 90% corn. Good information. It's just that 10% that'll kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
You gotta kind of pick and choose, which parts you want of it. But yes, you do say little. I don't think I do feel that you learn how to use your enemies because some of your most loyal people can cut. I have many situations that I got that from. Concealing your intentions. I do believe
Yes.
many times you have to do that for people's good. Sometimes you have to do that for people's good. And I think your heart and who you are will play in a lot of how this manifests.
Right.
If I'm a good person, I'm going to conceal certain things. If I see Rian as this delicate flower, I'm not going to be like, look, I'm going to come in and give you a positive role model and male support and masculine energy. And she going to be like, oh, no, you a creep. What you got all this interest in me for? I may see what I'm working with and I'm going to have to go, oh, got to pull back a little bit. Okay, now I go a little forward. Oh, got to pull back. So I may not let you know that, hey, this is, so I think your heart.
Law number 19, know
What?
who you're dealing with. Don't
Woo!
be the wrong person. That's what it was.
Man,
I gotta make this announcement.
know who you dealing with. That should have been, if that wasn't number one, that should have been number two.
But I feel like if you move throughout the world, like being a good being, I and this is just, I may be wrong, but I just feel as though it's gonna come back.
Louisiana must be nice.
Hell no, nigga. Shit, we was the murder capital at 1.2.
Dude, if you walk around trying to be nice,
I say being good to people.
being good to people is worse. That is a mark to a
D.
lot of people.
D,
Am I wrong?
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't. Fair. I try to be fair
Okay.
as opposed to nice or.
Man, please, I'm talking, and I'm talking that's
And
anyway.
that's gonna be guarded as well because again, if I feel like I'm not gonna benefit to something, I'm just like, if I feel like if I even if I feel like being fair may put me in a real negative situation, I may need to rethink being fair.
Yeah, I mean, you.
That's what I'm saying. Being good, people take advantage of good people.
It won't be long.
It is better.
It gonna take about one. I'm like Yolanda. It gonna take about one time.
Yeah.
It's like this. I forgot who said
That
this.
one good time.
Yeah.
I forgot who said this. It said it is better to have a sword and keep it sheathed than to be a man without a sword. My wrath, it's better to have a wrath with the potential to control it than not to have a wrath.
I think we all have a wrath. I'm saying like
Some people wrath don't mean nothing.
Well, shit,
Some
that's-
people got a gun that ain't gonna pull it.
that's on them. I'm
What
just
do I-
saying it's
No,
good.
you know what I mean?
It's good to start off being good to people. Like if I meet you and I'm just an asshole to you, yeah, you might be the janitor today. Tomorrow you might be the president.
But not just that.
You
Not
dig what I'm
just
saying?
that.
So it's like just
Well, what I interpret as being what?
But Jada the president?
hey man,
Hey.
you don't know.
Hey,
You making moves. That's
Yeah.
a success story right there. I was
Yeah.
gonna give that story.
But I'm just saying. Some of my best relationships started off on the wrong foot. So it's not. And some of the worst relationships started off with folk. Let's put it like this: when folks started coming off being nice to me, I moved back. That's why I really, especially professionally, I do not try to help people with the exception of one person, I have hired or gotten people hired. In fact, the last job I left, I promised myself I'll never give anybody a job again. I'll never do it. This person, in the time that I knew them, which was a decade, had never had a full-time job. He was driving somebody else's car, you know, and they were a family. Married, they had a child. And, you know, told me, hey, I went to school, I'd have done everything I'd have done, went to school at 50 years old, I'd done everything I was supposed to do, and ain't nobody trying to help me out. Big bro, what's up, man? Why are people doing me like that? I said, I got you. I'm about to leave my job. I'm gonna bring you on so you can take my job. My boss had on pay no mind list. Wouldn't answer calls, wouldn't answer an email. Call the lady back. Stop it. She gets on. Not only did I get her job, I got her daughter a job. I'm changing your family's life, the quality in which your family. I'm on my way out the door. I can't do nothing for you. Do you know that lady had called me into the office with the supervisor that I had to talk to get her hired? And she was trying to report me to HR, saying that she didn't like how I treat her at work. And I'm like, okay. Number one, the issue is you don't listen. That's what it is. But two, you knew me for 10 years and you know how I get down. Now you're surprised? Oh, bet. And this, and again, know who you messing with. The reason why I was still there was because the person who you were reporting me to asked me to stay to teach you how to do the job.
So she ignored law number one.
In the biggest way. And you know what I did?
She ignored a few laws on it.
Y'all know what I did?
Let us know her intentions, everything.
I just left.
Yeah.
I just left. I didn't leave mad. What they used to say, don't go away mad, just go away. I'm like, oh, bye. Now, which brings me back to friends. Anna.
All my friends are that. So, I forgot what I was about to ask.
So I mean, well,
I was gonna say, like, when we talk about being nice to people,
Okay.
when you first meet, I feel like there's gotta be somewhere in the middle, right? Like, I can't walk up to you and start calling you an asshole when you just met me. I don't even know you, but like, I'm not gonna, bend the knee, and so we go figure out.
I believe that there is always a room for diplomacy. That's not necessarily being a good person. Diplomacy is just, we have to have an objective reality in which we all can relate and function in. I'm not putting more into it. I'm not taking any out. It's just, if you ask me something, I answer you. If we're working on the project together, I'll do my end. But
Hit low power.
Do I really start off being you hit levels?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of do though.
Well, that's
You
why
were pretty nice to people.
I am. But as you hit different levels in life, you function from a different angle. I don't care. So because I don't care, I can be nice to you. And what the difference is, which y'all don't understand, and when y'all see me do, y'all be like, oh man, dog, they're crazy. Is how fast that knife can cut off when you show me you're not worthy of it. When I was younger, I was so devastated by, I've been nice to you and you were mean to me. I went through all of these different emotions or whatever, and no. As soon as I meet him, you know the conversation I have. Everybody come in here. Oh, have you got this auto? Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other.
Hey,
Hey, that's right. And when you believe the face that people show, people will tell you they'll tell you exactly who they are and what they mean towards you. They tell you right off. Now we go, nah, he wouldn't have just said that. Oh, that's what it is. Appreciate you telling me. And I'm done. You no longer exist. You could die. I would not call off work to come to your funeral. If you all
He'll
five,
cancel. He'll cancel. Keith Taylor.
hey, dude,
July what?
I would. If you die, I would not care. I was like my mother said. There was a time I didn't know.
Look, look.
And I really, oh my God, so and so. You know, that's just the ABCs of me. You know.
I mean, I ain't mad at you. I move the same
But
way.
yeah,
I'm just saying, I
but you
start off being good. It's just once you show me, I ain't.
The good. Yeah, there's a
Don't matter to
different
me.
type of. There's
Hey,
a different
how's
type
my
of
mother?
good. There's a different type of good. You'll find out that good is in levels. Like, I've learned I can do good regardless of what you do.
Nah, partner, they gotta stop at a certain point. Then look, you know me well.
No.
You
I
do
don't
certain
mean
things.
no. I don't mean.
Now, what I will say is that it is for me. My intent is probably never gonna switch to do bad, unless my life is in danger or family life in danger. I'll probably kill your ass. But other than that, it's never gonna be to do bad. It's just separate. Like you just get the fuck away from me personally.
Well,
Now,
sometimes you can bless people away from you.
well,
You know,
that's-
you said Jesus, let him hit the lottery, get married. You don't have to be like, give him cancer. Let the leg fall off. It don't have to be that. You know, you can just be like, you know what? Bless them. Oh, they got a new job. Bless you. Bless you. And they gone, and you know, you're good. But then you start to think about how, it also depends on how you view the world. And you can get into all types of esoteric things, and you know, it's some folk, if they mess with you, it's some folks you shouldn't mess with. Again,
know who you dealing with.
know who you're dealing with. It's some folks you shouldn't mess with because the universe protects them.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like it's some people like, how they just Gene Wilder. What?
Now, I'm saying that's the opposite of law number 10.
What's law number 10?
Avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
That's the opposite.
Oh
Like,
no, that's true.
don't test the lucky and the fortunate.
Oh, no. I'm gonna tell you. There are such things as spiritual vampires.
Yes. Suck it right at it.
They just suck. And I'm telling
Coming
you,
and go.
you ever meet somebody that never got a happy story?
Yes.
Never?
What they gonna do?
Yeah.
Stop it, Mr. G.
Oh my God. That is you actually feel.
When they come to the door.
No, I know people. I
All
don't even
that
ask
story?
them how you doing anymore.
Damn.
I'm done that question. It's just
Joe,
hey.
we work with folk, they just come in and tell you. You ain't got it.
Oh, goddamn.
Guess what happened to me today?
Mr. G, don't tell him about it. Don't do it.
Tell me, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm serious. Just like if you hang out with billionaires, the likelihood is you're gonna be one.
Yeah.
If you hang out with intellectuals, the likelihood your intellect is going to increase. If you hang out with people who see the worst in the world, you attract. I'm gonna tell you, I used to do it. I had to catch myself. I used to come home. I worked in Lancaster, Texas.
Hey,
I would drive 30 minutes to Lancaster. Foolishness, foolishness, foolishness. And I would drive all that foolishness back to Arlington
oh no.
and tell my wife about it. Oh, bad, 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 bad. So what did she do? She went to work. Bad, 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 bad. And then I started noticing, why is all this tension in my house?
Experience.
And then I was like, I don't understand that. And then, again, when you're in that boat, it's not necessarily about if it's my fault I'm in that boat. I'm in this boat. That's why we're back to the black woman conversation. How do I fix this? So I started looking at our conversations. And because of me, I was coming home and, oh, this guy at work, and oh, this guy at work, and oh, this lady at work. And she was like, yeah, this lady at work, and this lady at work. And I was like, we're bringing all of this negativity into our house. And what made me realize it, I was talking to a lady that worked with me in Lancaster, and she was saying, I was like, we can have something so good here. Why do they keep this chaos? And she said, they're not happy at home. And they bring it here. Now, this is what got me. My dumb self. They're dropping it off from their house at work. It was impossible for that to get to Arlington. But for me. And then I said, let me stop. And I stopped cold turkey. See, I ain't one of them people that could ease into anything. And now, what does that do? My wife and I have built a communication of negative stuff at work. So, number one, I'm not feeding into the conversation. Number two, I don't want to hear it no more. Now the tension then elevated because now I have changed up the game, but I'm trying to do it for a healthy reason. Well, what I knew, just like I could influence something negative, I can influence something positive. And then we started having conversations built around positivity, and I just explained to her this was a mistake I made. And this is what was happening, and I began to see it. And then now, we've totally changed that dynamic and how we communicate. But yes, you can allow your space to be infiltrated with somebody else's energy. And that's one of the biggest ones on there. I agree with wholeheartedly. You really unlucky people. This is some, like, I know a lady, God bless her. You're just like, okay, you lying now. All this bad stuff, nothing goes right for you. And yeah, pretty much it. If she gets something good happen, 4 things going wrong. Yeah, you just, I'm sorry.
That's a good place to end.